Yomu, I'm hungry.
Coming, Mistress Yuyuko. Yuyuko impatiently hammered on the table, her ghost tummy audibly rumbling. So loud were her hunger pangs that Yomu could hear it all the way in the kitchen, even while she was bustling around putting the finishing touches on her mistress's 4-course meal. Goodness me, thought Yomu, my lady certainly is very hungry this afternoon, but I just fed her that roasted ham 3 hours ago. I do hope my meals haven't left her too famished. Yomu artfully garnished the duck flambé before scuttling out of the kitchen, weighted down with Yuyuko's hearty meal. Please excuse me, mistress, Yomu apologized as she set out the meal. I hope this is enough. Yuyuko's eyes went wide as she surveyed the incredible meal Yomu had so dutifully prepared for her.
Yomu, this looks wonderful,
she said, smiling at her servant.
You're so good to me. Please, take the rest of the day off after you're through gardening. You worked yourself to hard making this for me.
Oh, thank you, mistress, replied Yomu, bowing her head to the floor. That's very gracious of you, but please, your food is getting cold.
Ah, of course. I'd hate for all this effort to go to waste. Thanks for the meal.
Yomu smiled to herself as she watched Yuyuko dig into her first helping. Though she was elated by her mistress's praises, she knew she wouldn't be able to take the rest of the day off. There was simply too much weeding to be done, and besides that, after this meal it would be time to help Yuyuko relieve herself. With all the food her lady consumed, the mistress was naturally prone to very big bowel movements which directly required Yomu's assistance. Although Yomu found her mistress's habits distasteful, she nonetheless did not shirk from them, for that she loved her mistress deeply, and derived so much satisfaction from helping her make her waste. Such a dutiful young lady, thought Yuyuko, as she messily scarfed down an entire bowl of egg dumplings. That poor thing having to cook and clean after me night and day? Yuyuko's heart fluttered, thinking about her servant girl in such a way. But just then, Yuyuko felt a big shift in her gut. To her dismay, she felt the familiar sensation of a big, pent-up fart pressing against her tightly clenched asshole.
Oh no, Yomu, I'm afraid I have to pass gas. Please don't be too disgusted with me.
Not at all, mistress. Please, make yourself feel better. Just go ahead and let it all out.
Alright, here I go.
Yuyuko grunted, letting out a huge torrent of filthy wind. Her mammoth fart rumbled out of her, mostly being muffled by her cushion as she blew it hard out of her ass.
Ah! Ah! Yomu! I'm so sorry!
Yuyuko gritted her teeth as she felt her hot gas seep out through her blue, butterfly-embroidered kimono. She was making terribly vulgar and unladylike farts, quite unfitting for an elegant ghost woman like herself. So much noxious ghost girl gas was getting pumped out of Yuyuko's gut that she easily filled the whole room with her mammoth stench. Yomu coughed and wrinkled her nose as a strong whiff of Yuyuko's fart gas wafted over to her.
Oh goodness, I'm so embarrassed, Yomu. Please don't smell it. Ah! Oh no, it's really stinky. I'm so sorry.
Yuyuko said, flushing as red as a ghost girl can get as she smelled the stinking hot fart gas her chubby butt let out. Oh, it's all right, mistress. Please don't be embarrassed. In fact, I'm feeling quite gassy myself. May I relieve myself in front of you?
Oh, yes. Go right ahead, Yomu.
Yomu lifted her butt off the cushion, closed her eyes, and passed a short but deep-sounding fart. Though it was only a little, Yomu's face grew bright red in embarrassment as the smell of her fart gas wafted up out of her pleated skirt and into her nose. She had let out a very foul and pungent odor. Nowhere close to the disgusting, toxic farts her mistress made, but much stinkier than usual. Yomu covered her face in embarrassment and wafted her fart cloud away with a very feminine gesture of her hand. Excuse me, how embarrassing!
Ah, even Yomu's farts are so elegant and ladylike. If only her mistress could pass her wind in such a graceful manner.
Oh, thank you, mistress, Yomu swiftly replied, bowing low. But it is actually very stinky, and I think I have to make more.
That's quite all right, dear. No need to be so formal. I've already filled the room with my bad gas. What's a little more?
Yuyuko nodded and smiled in her dumb-looking way, but she secretly wanted Yomu to fart more. Her precious gardener was always so uptight and dignified around her. It gave Yuyuko a sort of obscene pleasure in seeing Yomu let go of her inhibitions this way. Truthfully, Yuyuko wished Yomu would fart casually all the time she was around her. It would be nice, thought Yuyuko, for Yomu to relax once in a while and sit around with her mistress, sharing gas with each other. Plus, she always wondered what a half-ghost girl's farts would smell like, especially coming out of two very sweaty, very tight ass cheeks after a long day of gardening. Yomu complied and scrunched up her face, bracing herself on her knees. Yomu stuck out her butt slightly and began passing some very quiet gas. Her fart hissed out from between her tight butt cheeks and stung her asshole a little bit. Yomu was tremendously embarrassed that she was making such vile, noxious gas, and right in front of her mistress at that. Finally, after an agonizingly long time, Yomu cut off her SBD and sat back down on the cushion. Ah, mistress, this is embarrassing, cried Yomu as her long, gassy fart continued to leak out of her. Yuyuko just smiled, happy to see her servant relieving her bloated bowels and giving off a nice, meaty stink. Whew, she went, her face beet red and her heart thumping. All finished. Yomu, you are so cute when you fart. Did you know that? Asked Yomu teasingly. Ach, mistress! Yomu grew an even deeper shade of red and embarrassment.
Hehehe, you're also cute when you are embarrassed. Perhaps I should embarrass you more often.
Before Yomu could reply, Yuyuko grimaced and shuddered. She clasped her hips tightly and breathed a tremendous burst of incredibly foul gas, followed by a chain of short, loud farts. Oh no!
Yomu, I think I need a... Please, hurry! Get the bucket!
Without a word, Yomu leaped from her seat and ran to grab Yuyuko's bucket. Because of Yuyuko's substantial eating, she could not go in a regular toilet and instead had to make do with a large metal pail.
Eek! Oh no! Ugh! Ah! Wah! It's coming out! I'm sorry, Yomu. I can't hold it!
Yuyuko cringed as she released another dirty, wet fart into the backside of her kimono. Tears welled in her eyes and her cheeks were on fire as she felt her asshole began to loosen as the first of her many, many horrible, nasty megaturds began to slip out. Yuyuko struggled but couldn't hold on a moment longer. With a dejected sigh, Yuyuko farted her greasy, wet shit into the ass of her panties. Yuyuko braced herself on top of the table, sitting up on her knees with her wide, round ass out. Her bulge was quickly growing as her panties were getting densely packed with waste. Yuyuko bulged her panties out as far as they would go, even pushing out her kimono bottom. She began to feel her piping hot, sticky waist escape over the hem. Mistress, hold on, I've got the bucket! Yomu came rushing back into the room, carrying a sizable 3-gallon pail.
Oh, it's no good, Yomu. So much is coming out.
Groaned Yuyuko, passing some more terrible, silent fart gas. Don't worry, mistress. Let Yomu handle it. Yomu came around behind Yuyuko and slowly and carefully lifted up Yuyuko's shit-stained kimono. Her eyes went wide for a moment as she assessed the incredible load Yuyuko had already dumped into her panties. Her frilly pink panties bulged incredibly from her big, fat, wide ass. It looked as if she had passed a watermelon into them. They were so heavy and dense.
No, Yomu, don't take them off.
No sooner had Yuyuko said that than did she pass an extremely wet, burbling fart that assaulted Yomu's nose. Her mistress's stench was horribly foul, some of the sickest fart gas she had ever smelled coming out of Yuyuko. But moreover, as Yomu carefully and gingerly pulled down Yuyuko's stuffed panties, she gazed at Yuyuko's dirty, swollen asshole as if it blossomed wide and began to let out a huge monster. Yuyuko groaned in agony as her tummy birthed this enormous foot-wide shit snake that crawled slowly out of her gaping rear end before splattering all over the filthy mound of rotten shit in her overflowing panties. "Oh no! Mistress Yuyuko, you're starting to let them out again! Please, you need to poop in your bucket now!" Yomu helped Yuyuko out of her soiled panties, and Yuyuko hurriedly squatted over the metal bucket. Went Yuyuko's gassy ass as she ripped a low, rumbling, wet shit fart into the bucket. Her awful gas cloud kept coming out more and more, reflecting the bottom of the pail and floating up around her. Yuyuko had no choice but to inhale the awful fart gas she was birthing. It was absolutely sickening. A big, fat, meaty fart totally raped her nose. Yomu couldn't help but breathe in her mistress's noxious fart plume too, which made her eyes water. Her sensitive nostrils were being overwhelmed by the toxic wind getting pushed out of Yuyuko's asshole. Finally, Yuyuko's tremendous gas blast stopped as her shithole was blocked up by the protruding tip of another mammoth brown turd. Her asshole was stretched wide open as the awful shit beast came squirming out of her gut. Yuyuko started to lay her fat shit in the bucket, her enormous butt fuckers loudly plopping on the metal basin as they came gushing out of her dilated hole. Yomu's face was mere inches from her mistress's defecating ass crack as she held and steadied Yuyuko's shit bucket. She could feel the intense heat radiate off of Yuyuko's gigantic turds and smell the potent scent that reeked from them. To Yomu, though, it was just another one of her mistress's big hyperdumps. She thought her mistress looked so beautiful and elegant as she laid her cute megaturds, as if Yuyuko was in the midst of an incredible, never-ending orgasm. Yomu flushed, imagining what her mistress must feel every time she takes one of these humongous dumps. But Yomu was torn from her daydream when Yuyuko ripped a loud, gassy stinker right in Yomu's face. Yomu felt Yuyuko's searing hot butt gas blow across her red cheeks.
Yomu, I'm so sorry!
Cried Yuyuko.
I didn't mean to... blow it on you. Oh gosh, it's really stinky. Please don't smell it, Yomu.
Oh, mistress, you know I don't mind. In fact, I think they smell quite good. That one was very pungent. Probably because you're no longer so blocked up. So go ahead and make a lot more, mistress.
Oh, Yomu.
Yuyuko flushed, her feelings for her servant welling up inside her now that she had revealed herself so truthfully. But before she could say anything, Yuyuko's tummy gurgled sickeningly as she passed a huge, slimy log out of her rectum. Inch after foul, disgusting inch of thick, repugnant shit slid out of Yuyuko's belching asshole. Her enormous turd painfully stretched her fat, gaping asshole. It was so massive and dense, a gigantic 12-inch white shit cock. Tears streamed down Yuyuko's smooth white face, and she banged her head against the table, pushing with all of her might, trying to relieve herself of the huge piece of shit sticking straight out of her chubby butt. However, as the huge never-ending log continued to grow out of her ass, it squeezed against Yuyuko's overfilled bladder, making her need to desperately take a piss.
Oh no, Yomu. I need to pee. I gotta pee so bad. No, it's no good.
Yuyuko struggled to keep her piss hole closed, but she couldn't help but lose control as she continued to push on her fat shitload. Yuyuko started squirting out a high-pressure stream of nasty, thick yellow piss from her plump, gushing pussy. Her hot stream shot straight out of her plump cheeks, spraying everywhere, looking more like a horse relieving itself than a ghost girl. "Ah! Miss Yuyuko, it's going all over!" cried Yomu, desperately trying to contain her mistress's messy piss flow. Yuyuko was practically squirting out of control, pushing out a powerful, thick gusher that shot straight at her enormous hyper shit, breaking her turd open and causing it to release a totally obnoxious smell. Poor Yomu was also getting positively soaked in Yuyuko's hot piss blast. Her cute little green jumper was absolutely soaked through, damp with Yuyuko's heady pea juice and stained with flakes of her massive shit and raunchy diarrhea. Groaned Yuyuko, inhaling the wretched scent of her piss-soaked hyper-turd.
I can't take it. It smells so bad. Oh, this is so embarrassing.
Eek! Oh no, mistress! It won't fit in the bucket! You're making too much! Yomu fruitlessly wrangled with the end of Yuyuko's tremendous shit, trying to fit as much of her offensive crap into the pail, but it was no use. Yuyuko gasped as her fat megaturd broke in two, half of it sticking awkwardly out of the bucket and the other hanging out of Yuyuko's stretched out butthole. Yomu's hands were now completely covered up to her elbows in Yuyuko's nasty shit cream as the little half-ghost tried to stuff Yuyuko's huge turd down into the bucket. Sure enough, Yuyuko had managed to completely fill her shit bucket with just a fraction of her mighty waste in stinky piss.
I'm so sorry, Yomu. I can't stop. Everything is coming out of me.
Yuyuko cupped her hands in her face and sobbed as she continued to leak shit and piss everywhere. Her piss hole was still gushing with a nice huge stream, which had quickly formed a rapidly spreading puddle that threatened to cover the whole floor. She still couldn't hope to close her butthole as it was still mercilessly fucked open by her raunchy megaturd, which kept crawling its way out of her stomach and piling up on the tatami in what had become a disgusting 2-foot-tall mound. And even though she was still shitting like crazy, Yuyuko had plenty of gas left inside her that painfully leaked out, causing her to rip incredibly loud and embarrassing fart blasts that sent her shit snake rocketing out of her and into her fat turd pile. "It's all right, mistress," Yomu said. "Look." Yuyuko looked up to see Yomu licking the nasty coat of shit off her gorgeous hands and arms. Yomu looked as if she was enjoying it tremendously, softly moaning each time she stuck out her naughty tongue and slurped off another helping of her mistress's crap. "See, mistress? It's okay if you make a mess around me, because I am Miss Yuyuko's toilet. I wish Miss Yuyuko would give her toilet girl all of her body's beautiful waste. Miss Yuyuko's toilet wants to smell, and taste, and feel everything that comes out of a lovely mistress's body. Her cute stinky farts. And her hot, wet piss. And especially her huge, horrible turds." Yomu's shit-caked hands found their way down between her pleated skirt. Yomu let out a little gasp as she frigged her delicate pussy lips through her bloomers, delighting in the feel of Yuyuko's shit getting messily smeared all over her puffy, swollen lips.
Yomu, Mistress would love to feed her toilet all this smelly, nasty stuff inside of her body, but only if her toilet promises to fart and shit a lot, too.
Yomu started to tear up, but managed a big smile across her blushing red face. "Oh, of course, mistress. Yomu has so much bad gas and fat shite to give her mistress. Here, please let me share it with you." Yomu peeled off her piss-drenched skirt to reveal her darkened bloomers, utterly soaked with her copious pussy cream. "Here, mistress. Yomu is going to let out a very dirty fart. Please sniff all of it." Yomu turned around and stuck out her tight ass, pointing it right under Yuyuko's nose, and instantly ripped an insanely pent-up, vulgar fart. Even though Yuyuko had filled the room with so much bad-smelling waste, Yomu's fart gas managed to reach her nostrils and she perceived its smelly scent. It truly was awful. Much worse than the farts Yomu normally made, and it made Yuyuko feel proud knowing that her half-ghost toilet girl was sharing her worst-smelling gas with her. "Ah, all done," went Yomu as the last of her foul, noxious fart drifted up and out of her bloomers. "Now, I can finally take a big messy dump with Mistress Yuyuko. Oh, here it comes, mistress. I'm not going to hold anything back. I'm going to let out all the big nasty turds inside of me and share them with my mistress." With a sigh, Yomu relaxed her asshole and started shitting hard into her panties. Her bloomers quickly began to bulge outwards as she forced out her own gigantic shit. Although it was nowhere near as huge or long as Yuyuko's, Yomu's shit was very stinky and both girls could smell it as Yomu dropped a nice big load in her panties. Yuyuko was salivating as she watched Yomu completely pack her panties full of crap and hurriedly wrench down Yomu's bloomers to see the humongous mess she had made.
Wow, Yomu, that's wonderful. You are shitting so much. Ah, I can feel more sliding out of me too. We are both shitting so beautifully together.
Although Yuko hadn't stopped dumping the whole time Yomu messed herself, she now let loose with abandon. Her gushing pussy was drenching everything with a steamy coating of piss, and her farting asshole was belching out a seemingly never-ending steam of fat, thick hyper-turds that plopped all over her legs and feet. Yuko pulled off Yomu's crap-filled panties and quickly stuffed her face in them, overwhelmed by her toilet girl's incredibly stinky shit. Yuko brought her face out of Yomu's shit mound, and Yomu giggled seeing her mistress's face absolutely covered in her vile crap. Yomu leaned and smeared her face all over Yuko's, getting her crap all over herself. In the end, the girls wallowed in their own massive piles of filth as their gassy asshole belched out their big, stinky loads. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Yuko Makes a Mess. I hope you enjoyed the story, and may y'all enjoy your happy, very shitty Ape Troll Fool's Day. This is Steve the Human, and good God, what did I just read?